Exciting. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Friday. Hopefully you can hear me. New technology. I'm not actually flying a plane or anything. Really, you wouldn't want that. But I have a headphone on today to keep out external noise. So hopefully it all works. As always, if you are there, do say hello in the comments so that Rachel. Good morning, good morning, husband. I can see you from here. Oh, end of October already. I don't know where this is. Just checking that everything's, yeah, I'm all plugged in. My internet just dropped out then. I am plugged directly into it, so fingers crossed. Good morning, Christine. Good morning, good morning. Welcome everyone. I am not in my broom cupboard today. The builders are actually taking the ceiling down in our old kitchen, which is right underneath the floor of the room that I have been broadcasting from for the last couple of weeks. So I thought it would be quite chaotic and loud and noisy to be sitting in there. So I am in our bedroom at the moment, headphones on to kind of cancel out any outside noise. Apologies for any pixelation that's happening. The internet is iffy at the moment. Hopefully you can hear me all right though. Good morning, Jay. Good morning, Lani. Good morning, Diane. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the end of October. Nearly Sauen. Exciting. Interesting today. Good morning, Kelly. I pondered about what to talk about today because all of my magical gear is packed up. I spoke about it last week. Everything is in boxes. It's all packed away. Magical tools, crystals, herbs, the whole kit and caboodle, all packed away. So it's been a bit of a challenge for me. One, I think that I needed actually. I think it has been a bit of a learning curve to work with nothing, with no tools, no magical items at all. So today I thought I would have a look around and pick up items, household items, and see what magic can be worked with them. So I've got a few items that I literally just sat down and I thought, right, what can I see? What can I reach that are normal household items that I can work magic with? So I've got a few bits. Have a think, you guys, while you're sitting here. I'll go through my bits and then I'll open up the floor and we'll see what you guys have got near you that we think we could work magic with. And we'll take it from there. Good morning, Denise. Let's get some of these up. Scaffold has arrived today and ready to start re-roofing on Monday. And it's raining. Yes, we had rain this morning and we've got bricklayers in today. But thankfully, looking out the window, it's not actually raining at the moment. It's all fun and games, but it'll all be worth it. Good morning, Rhiannon. Good morning, Jane. Pixie latte. Yeah, I like that. I wonder what that would taste like. No, let's not go there. Good morning, Xenia. Yeah, Eric is fast asleep on the bed under a duvet. Yeah, headphones to cancel out the outside noise. Xenia's got work too, doing the facade now and building in more windows. Ugh, noise and dirt. Yeah, it's the dust, isn't it? The dust is unbelievable. Good morning, Willow Moon. We will have more dust today with the entire kitchen ceiling coming down. So, yeah, it's fun. But we have the best builders in the world. I am absolutely convinced of that. We definitely have the most happiest, cheerful load of builders that I've ever known. They laugh and have a joke and are cheerful the entire day from start to finish. Bless them. Good morning, Christine. So that kind of leads me on. So I looked around Oh, Ellery. Sorry, I'm not very good at pronouncing that. We're going to get the conservatory turned into a kitchen, dreading it. We've had our conservatory taken down and it's being built into a proper brick conservatory, and it will become kind of part of the kitchen diner. So it's a lot of work, it's a lot of chaos, but it is going to be worth it in the end, she says. We're at the end of week 4 now and we're still smiling, so it's all good. So first item, and this one made my husband laugh. The first item that I laid my hands on, and it's quite weird because actually I can see my husband from here now. He's right opposite me, so he's going to be pulling faces at me the whole time. The first item that I found, good morning, Louise. The first item that I picked up was a brick. We have got a lot of brick rubble. Actually, not so much now because they've moved a lot of it out this week. So the first item that I picked up was a brick, and it suddenly occurred to me that an ingredient that's used in hoodoo quite a lot, hoodoo magical practice, is red brick dust. So I had these huge piles of rubble, of brick, and I had a magical ingredient right on the doorstep. There he goes, then he has got it. Red brick dust for protection, definitely. Yes, that is its primary use. So I had all these bricks lying there and a magical ingredient right on my doorstep. So I have stolen this one before it went in the skip. I'm going to scrape it and save the red brick dust. It has been sitting on my desk, and I do keep looking at it and thinking, just if you catch it out the corner of your eye, it looks like a piece of cake. Maybe that's just me. Good morning, Jackie. So yes, red brick dust. I'm going to put that down because this is quite dirty. I'm going to scrape it and save it. Definitely used in protective spells. That is its primary use. Quite often it is sprinkled around the boundaries of your property to bring protection, to keep out unwanted people. I think as a brick, it could also be used for grounding and stability. It makes good foundations. I think it also would tie in with any magical work that you do for house and home. I think if you think about it, it's got quite a lot of uses that all stem from the brick being a solid foundation. So brick dust, absolutely brilliant. It was all around me and hadn't even thought about it. Willow Moon. My friend found half a brick on the beach. It had a hole in it. In theory, hag brick. Love it. Perfect. Perfect. Christine says, I sense you're missing your kitchen, really seeing brick. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm seeing cake everywhere. Definitely. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Karen. Jane says, brick dust is great for mixing with araldite to repair old flower pots. Oh, okay. Does that count as protection? Well, you're protecting the flower pot, I guess, aren't you? I'd never thought of doing that, to mend the flower pot. Brilliant idea. Lani says, to me, associated with the element of earth. Yes, I guess it would. I'd probably add a little bit of fire in there as well. I think earth because of what a brick is made of, but also fire because they fire them, don't they? So bit of mixture there, definitely. Good morning, Kay. So brick dust, brilliant for magic. Good morning, John. Have a few took down the barbecue for more planting space. Hadn't used it in an age. Well, scrape the bricks and save the brick dust. Brilliant for magic. The next thing that I moved on to, we've had a couple of fireplaces down. Jane says, yes, terracotta. Couldn't be more earthy and fiery. Definitely, it's a combination of the two, isn't it? So brick dust, brilliant for all sorts of things. The next thing I looked at was, we've had a couple of chimney breasts taken down, so you can see the marks of the soot on the wall. In fact, the one in one of the rooms the black soot mark looks like a witch's hat. It's brilliant. Soot is absolutely brilliant for magic. In fact, I use ashes a lot for magic. We have a chimney in the garden, and if I have a fire, I save a lot of the ashes, particularly something like a Beltane fire. I'll save the ashes to use in spell work. But soot, I was doing a bit of research like you do. Apparently, if you mix soot with gum arabic and water, you can make an ink. to write with, so you could write magical petitions with it. Mixing salt with your soot will make black salt, which is really good for protection. There's all kinds of noises going on below us. So long as we don't hear a crash and then a shout, we'll be all right. Yes, Christine, black salt. Mixing the soot with salt will create black salt, which is really good for protection again. I think you could also mix it into hot foot powder, which is another hoodoo recipe. Paprika, chilies, salt. You could mix the soot in with that. That's used for getting rid of people or negative energy, but can be used for protection as well around your boundaries. I think soot as well has got the element of fire because that's where it came from. But I think also air, because the soot that's up the chimney breast is taken up by air. So soot, I think, another really useful one. Let's pop this up here. Throw your theories in today, people. Let's get some interaction going here because it's always fun. And I learn stuff. Xenia, have the theory that the colour red is protective. Red items, also the Chinese red knotwork hangings, red threads and tassels, seem to distract nosy neighbours in the non-ordinary realm. Cool. Shaman friend practised journeying to another friend and her attention was always caught by the red threads in their sofa blanket. Interesting. Red, I think, traditionally it's probably tied in with passion and love and those kind of things. But if you think about it from the angry kind of point of view, red can be quite an angry colour, then yeah, absolutely, it would come out as protective, definitely. Jane says, women used to use soot for mascara by sooting up the edge of a saucer with a candle flame. That sounds quite dangerous. I'm not sure I'd want to be doing that, but yes, definitely. Good idea if you've run out mascara. Willow moon, bricks. Yes, foundations. That's what they're used for, isn't it? That, for me, the brick dust will also bring stability, definitely. Jane, hot foot powder is a great name. I used to call it Go You Must Dust. Just converted. Yeah, hot foot powder. It's good stuff. Definitely good stuff. In hoodoo, it's used quite a lot against people, to get rid of people. They sprinkle the powder where the person is going to tread, hence hot foot. The person treads in the powder and takes the negative, often quite nasty energy with them. I tend to use hot foot powder on the boundaries to keep people out, but you can use it to get rid of people as well and to protect you from noisy or horrible neighbours as well by putting it on your boundaries. Xenia says, angry colour, yes, makes total sense. It's also the colour of Mars in planetary magic. Yes, absolutely. So red, yeah, definitely. An angry colour can be. Depends how you see it, doesn't it? So that was soot. The other one is dust. We have a lot of dust at the moment, an awful lot of dust. Well, every house does, doesn't it? Think about what dust is made up from. A lot of the dust in our house at the moment is brick dust and taking ceilings down, so it's building dust. But dust generally is dead skin cells and hair and all that kind of body stuff, which is quite gross when you think about it. But every house has it. It does seem that as soon as you wipe the dust away, another load falls. But I think dust brings a personal connection. Whenever I'm making a witch's bottle, if it's for protection for the house, I usually put some dust or a cobweb from the house, because every house has cobwebs. I keep cobwebs for magical purpose, not because I don't like housework. And if you believe that. So dust as well, I think, has a personal connection. So if you are building a witch's bottle or a spell pouch to bring protection to your home, then I think putting some dust from your home in there would bring that personal connection as well. Maria, I'm casting to my personal page, my author page, and to YouTube. You will see different comments depending on what page the person is putting them from, but I will put them on the screen so everyone can see them. Willow Moon, colour of blood. Yes, red, womb, nurturing, basics, definitely. Jane says, in the hot foot spell I found, you put the powder in all the plug holes and it makes an unwanted visitor feel hot and uncomfortable. It would, yes, because hot foot powder is primarily heat. It's chilies, paprika, black peppers sometimes added as well. Yeah, as Xenia says, mostly the usual dust is ourselves, absolutely, which is why it brings that personal connection to any spell that you're working. Diane has plenty of dust. Tell everyone it's all for magical purpose, Diane, and then you're sorted. Hi, Ellie. Cannot comment in my Facebook app. Oh, Facebook has, its own rules. Definitely its own rules. Jane's never short of dust and cobwebs. Again, it's all for magical purpose. A witch has to keep dust and cobwebs for magical use. So then I kind of looked at, although we haven't got a working kitchen at the moment, in fact, there's nothing in our kitchen at the moment apart from a sink and probably no ceiling now by the sound of the noises that have just come from downstairs. So we've got a little makeshift sort of kitchen up here in my broom cupboard. So I had a look at the basics that we've got there. And the first thing that I picked up was a plate. And a plate is round. It's a circle. And we use a circle so often in witchcraft, in magic. It is infinity. It is the complete circle. It is a boundary. I think the plate could be representative of a circle. If you can't get outside to hold a ritual, you could use the plate to help you visualize your circle. You could put all of your magical spell working inside it. You can use the plate to make a mandala, to put candles on, all sorts representative of the circle because it's round. And of course, you can put your cake on it. Not my brick, not your brick cake. Jane says, I tell people the cobwebs on my website. It is Web of Weird, isn't it? Christine, I can dust the house and dog dust dander comes back. Yeah, if you've got dogs in the house or cats, you've always got pet hair as well. Christine, all my dust and cobwebs have been reclassified as Halloween decorations. Definitely. No, we're getting into the spirit of things. Willow Moon, you have rings within that plate, a circle within a circle, lots of energy. Do you know, I hadn't noticed that, Willow Moon. You are absolutely right. There are rings within rings. It's got a lot of energy, hasn't it? You could almost use it as a spiral, as a finger labyrinth. Yes, that would work really well, wouldn't it? Particularly for spell work, you could build up the energy with it. Well spotted, Willow Moon. Thank you. Well spotted. And a colour comes into it as well. If you've got plates of different colour, you've got colour magic that you bring into it as well. I don't have an altar at the moment because everything's packed away. I could effectively have a little mini altar stood on a plate with bits and pieces on it. Karen says, we had a moot last night and there was so much cake we couldn't eat. Couldn't eat. Not wasted cake. Leftover cake. That's a sin. Jane says, your plate looks like the representation of the thymus chakra, all about aging and getting through life. Interesting. All from one plate. That's interesting, isn't it? All from all of these things, all of these ideas, all of these magical spiritual purposes from a plate. It just shows you how much magic you can get out from your normal household items. I moved on from the plate to a knife. Just a normal knife for buttering, slicing your cake. And I mean, we use a knife in magic. If you are, particularly if you're Wicca or you work with ceremonial magic, you're going to have an athame. So I do have a couple. I must admit I don't use them very often, but as they are all packed away, if I needed one, then a normal knife would work very well as an athame for directing energy, for representing the masculine. Anything really that you use an athame for. A normal household knife could be used as well, or anything really like a vegetable peeler as well. Knife. Maria has Luna magic, the cat. Absolutely. I have Eric magic. Jane says, leftover cake and jelly and custard equals trifle. Perfect. Perfect. Absolutely. Good morning, Sheena. Tuning in on my witch walk. Excellent. Welcome. So then, of course, I moved on to the fork. I did struggle a little bit with the fork as to what you would use it for magical purpose. You could use it as a wand or as a kind of makeshift athame, I guess. Any thoughts on a fork? I kind of struggled with that one. Yeah, I'm not sure. Other than using it as an athame again, I did struggle with the fork, but there must be some use for it. Good morning, Emma. Jane says a fork makes a great anti-snoring device. I'm assuming you poke people with it. John says, ever since I was small, it was bad luck to pick up a knife after dropping it. Oh, I haven't heard that one. Interesting. Christine's now gone off thinking about trifle. Good idea, Christine, for weaving. Yes, you could use it, couldn't you, for weaving the web, weaving your destiny, weaving your goals, your desires. Nice idea, Christine. Nice idea. Maria's had a few ideas of the fork since last week, but probably not for general viewing, no. Yes, I like that idea, Christine. Weaving. Definitely. See, we're coming up with good ideas. All these normal items that can be used for personal magic. Personal items for magic, something like that. And then, of course, a mug, a cup, whatever you want to call it. This is my posh one. It doesn't have to be posh. But what does he look like? A cauldron. Actually, this one would be quite good as a cauldron because it's quite a nice, strong one. I'm not sure I'd actually set fire to anything and drop it into the cup. But you could use it as a representation of the cauldron. So it would be the feminine. It is the womb. It is the goddess. You could put your herbal mixes. You could stand a candle in the bottom of it and work your spell in it. So a mug for me, definitely a cauldron. Got that whole feminine vibe. I bet it's a dirty, great big toasting fork. Yes. Like that, Maria. That's nice. Twisting the energy around the fork like you do with spaghetti. Right now, I'm hungry now. I've had my first breakfast. Haven't had my second breakfast yet. Twisting the energy around the fork. Definitely. I like that, Maria. Very good. Christine says that's why it's so magic when all us witches get together in a circle of wisdom and sharing dust stories. This is what I love about these Friday morning chats. I learn so much from you guys as well, and it's great to have so much input. Everyone has different ideas. Everyone comes at things from a different way. So, yeah, absolutely. Willow moon, a cauldron cup, add hot water and herbs and transform them into steam. Perfect. Excellent idea. And if they are edible, you can then drink it too. Herbal tea. Like it. Very like it. That's a good idea too, Maria. A dark coloured mug for scrying. This one wouldn't be particularly good because the inside's quite light. I find that quite difficult to scry when the inside's light. But yes, if it's dark inside, it would be very good. Scrying. Like it. Excellent. There we go. Xenia, I did scrying with a cup of coffee. You can read tea leaves, of course. Mugs, you would read tea leaves. You can also read coffee grinds. If you have proper coffee, you can read the coffee grinds just as you would read tea leaves as well. Jane says, isn't it lovely we can see all sorts of magic and apps? Absolutely. That was kind of this week I thought, I felt a bit of drift without any of my magical items, but then I thought, actually, there's magic all around us. And I'm a kitchen witch, for goodness sake, should be able to use whatever's Hello, Moon. Who needs pagan supplies? I'm going to IKEA. Excellent. Excellent. No, I always go to IKEA and come home with a whole trolley load of stuff I didn't need. Now I can put it down as pagans' magical supplies, definitely. So there's a lot of crockery, I think. There's bowls as well. Maria says, that noise is what's going on inside my brain. Your builders are magic. Builders are magic. They are magically fantastic. Best builders in the whole world. Diane's up for the IKEA trip as well, which is outing to IKEA. I think there's a lot of stuff in the cupboard that you could use. Bowls as well would be good for scrying. I hadn't thought of that one. That's really good. Xenia did scrying with dark surface of the dark coffee. Excellent. Yes, I guess black coffee would work very well for that, wouldn't it? Absolutely. You can scry into any liquid surface. Puddles are really good for scrying with as well, particularly city puddles, which often have that oil on the top of them. They're really good for scrying. Any flat reflective surface is good for scrying. Coffee, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Jane says we choose all the ordinary functional stuff in our house for a reason. It resonates with us. Absolutely. Absolutely. The other thing that I thought about were cleaning fluids. I have tried over the last couple of years to go more eco-friendly, my cleaning stuff. I have dishcloths now that I chuck in the washing machine rather than the disposable sponge things. I have eco-friendly washing up liquid and washing tabs and things like that. But washing up liquid can be used for magical purpose as well. Soap can be used for magical soap. All of my soap is Bewitched Botanicals, obviously. But soap and washing up liquid are all very good. They are cleaning, they're cleansing, they're releasing. You can put a few shavings of soap into any spell work that needs you to cleanse, to release, to let go. The same with washing up liquid. Squirt a bit of washing up liquid into your spell to help cleanse, to release, to clear things out. If you've got a really stubborn problem, issue, then bleach. Be careful though, because obviously it's not a nice product. Any of those cleaning products, even things like shampoo, shower gel, things like that would work to cleanse, to purify. It's about thinking about different ways of using those ordinary things, I think. Joe says, I always saw magic everywhere. Not being able to afford things helps. That's the other thing, isn't it? I don't think that witchcraft should cost lots of money. So if you can use the items that are in your house, then brilliant. Anything that you want for your altar, athames, chalices, offering dishes, they can all be sourced from charity and thrift stores. You can even personalize them by decorating them yourselves. Obviously, there are some fantastically talented people that you find at the pagan fairs that create all these beautiful things as well. So if you've got the money, go for it. But if you haven't, we make do. Charity shops are brilliant for that. Christine says, going into my daughter's room is like a trip to IKEA. Pop in to look and come out with 3 plates, 4 cups, 2 bowls and a sauteers. See, we're really strict and we don't let our children eat upstairs, so we don't have that issue. At the moment, it's a bit different because we're living upstairs, but yeah. Yes, as Maria says, one day you will miss that. You will. Christine, e-cloths, love mine. I only use water with them. Can't use a lot of chemicals. Yeah, that's the other thing, isn't it? If you've got a lot of cleaning chemicals, then they can affect your health too. Spirits of salts. I've got salt written down actually. Salt is such a good magical ingredient. It's useful for so many things, all sorts of things: cleansing, purifying, protection. Definitely. Ellie, I replaced my paper kitchen towel roll with usable. Yes, I've got them too. Saving tons of paper in the trees. Yes, they're very useful. And then you just chuck them in the washing machine. Mum used to use Dad's underpants to dust. I didn't think we even want to go there. don't think we really want to go there at all. Anyway, moving swiftly onwards. The other thing I thought about, which is an interesting one, is coins. I got a few coins in my purse. Not that people are really people seem to be taking actual cash less and less these days. But I have got a few coins in my purse, and coins I always had to. That's me laughing at the noise I can hear underneath me. Silver coins in particular, I tend to use in prosperity spells. I'll quite often drop a little silver 5p coin into a witch bottle, into a spell pouch to add that money energy. You can pop silver coins under your front doormat to bring the money in. Every time someone steps over the doormat, they bring positive prosperity energy in. I tend to use copper coins as offerings to Sulis. Because that's more in keeping with her time period and the offerings that would have been made in Roman and pre-Roman times. So coins, I think, for me, are all about prosperity. They work really good in prosperity spells. John says, woolly socks here. I'm surprised Jane hasn't mentioned socks. Sock magic. What do we get from sock magic? What magic could you work with a sock? Actually, you could use an old sock for a spell pouch. Yes, Jane says, sacrilege to dust with woolly socks. We do also use old socks. We stuff old socks into old socks and put little treats in them. Eric loves to play with them. He likes to disembowel them. But sock magic. There, Jane, there's a challenge for you. Sock magic. Jane says, my weird son gave me a huge pair of white Y-fronts as a Mother's Day present. Use them for dusting as well. I've missed out on this somewhere. Obviously, I should be doing my dusting with underpants. It's obviously a thing. William says, yes, Dobby clothing. The sock is Dobby clothing, definitely. Puppets. Yes, you could make sock puppets. The other thing that I did think of then was food things. But if I'll keep carrying on with my list, but if anybody's got anything they want to throw into the mix, have you got something you can see in front of you? Something that is in your room that is a normal object that you could think of. One other thing I thought of was sellotape or sticky tape. I use it in bindings. Sticky tape is really good for binding because it sticks, because it binds things together, because it's quite difficult to get out of. If you really, really want a strong binding, then I would go with gaffer tape, duct tape, because you can't get out of that stuff. Sellotape is good. It's good for binding things together. It's good for keeping things together. The other thing is a stapler. I have one on my desk here. The magic stapler. It's good for keeping things together. It's good for tying things down. It's good for nailing things down. Bringing things together. After a dispute or an argument, bringing people together, you could use the staples. So it is a bit about thinking outside of the box and looking at the things that you've got and how you could use them. Christine says it was a thing years ago. It's the cotton material good for cleaning. Well, everything was reused, wasn't it? Once the clothing was all mended, socks were darned, clothing was mended, clothing was patched, and when it had on its last legs, it would have been cut up and used for dusting cloths, which is perfect. It makes absolute sense. Willow Moon. Sock magic. Here we go. Walking away, vanishing, stamping out. I like it. Yes. Grounding too, wouldn't it? Because your feet are always on the ground. I like it. Good thinking. Magic of a cup of tea. Tea has its own magic anyway. Tea's very magical. But it's a British thing, isn't it? Have a cup of tea is the answer to everything. Jane says, sticky tape is good for getting someone's essence in the form of a fingerprint. Oh, you've been watching lots of detective shows. Yes, if you wanted to bring personal energy in, someone's fingerprint. Maria, remote control to visualize turning annoying people off. Excellent. I like your thinking. Kelly has crochet next to me, which I could use with color magic, binding, not magic. I think anything like that, crocheting, knitting, tatting, any of that, it's repetitive. So it's meditative. but you can work not magic, certainly, into anything like that, knotting and crocheting. I think all of that's magical anyway, because I can't do it. But you can knit or crochet, particularly if you're making something for someone in particular. You can knit or crochet your intent, your energy into the item that you're making. Christine, gaffer tape has a light side and a dark side, and now I'm thinking Star Wars, and holds the universe together. Balance, I like it. Yes, hadn't thought of that. It has, doesn't it? Normally it has the dark grey side and then the lighter white inside. Balance, I like it. Oh, it's starting to rain. Oh, my husband's doing that. Torrential rain? Yes. Oh dear.
Wet builders.
That might, yeah. The bricklayers are probably very wet now. Jane says, I've got a remote control to turn off next door's yapping dog. But yes, that would work, wouldn't it? Because that's what you use a remote control for, turning things on and off. So you could use it in spell work for that. I like your thinking. That was Pete dropping his cricket ball on his desk. He has 3 cricket balls on his desk, like, just displayed. Stop throwing the cricket balls away. Christine says, rain is good for washing away the dust. Yeah, it will do. We don't want to wash away the bricklayers, though, because that holds things up. The other thing I thought about, someone mentioned tea. I have tea meaning here. So it is good old cup of tea. It's a classic, isn't it? Tea leaves are good for divination. We mentioned that earlier. Tea is ruled by the sun and the element of fire. So it packs a huge punch of that solar fiery energy. It is good to drink before meditations because it helps you relax and let go of your worries. So it calms and steadies you before any divination work or any meditation work. Tea leaves bring courage. They bring strength. They bring prosperity as well because they come from the camellia family, and camellia is a real money-making kind of plant. It is also masculine, which I'm never very sure about that one, but that's the general consensus, is it's masculine energy as well. That's your builder's mug of tea, isn't it? So tea itself, although we as British, it's the answer to everything, it has got a huge amount of magical energy to it. So tea, very, very useful. And of course, to balance that, we have coffee. Talked about scrying with coffee. It's a pick-me-up. It's a tonic, isn't it? Apparently it's been drunk since around 800 AD, so it's been around for a while. It brings a magical and practical boost of energy and also clarity of thought. Although apparently at one time in Constantinople it was banned because it made people too clear-headed. Obviously they wanted people to walk around confused. It's a fire element, the actual coffee, but I think as you add water to it to drink it, because you can't drink it without it, you bring the water element into it as well. So nice mixture of fire and water there, nice balance, nice opposites. If you aren't worried about karma or free will, coffee can be used to encourage people to come around to your way of thinking. It is quite a manipulative ingredient to use if that's your bag. Make them a cup of coffee. Add sugar to sweeten their mood. As you stir the coffee, visualize what you want them to do for you. If you're working with hoodoo, you might add some interesting bodily fluids as well to bring about the same purpose. But coffee is quite a manipulative drink if you want to take it in that direction. Coffee grounds you can use in divination, as I've said, as you would with tea leaves. Coffee also works really well for breaking spells. It's very good for breaking spells and hexes, to release them, to reverse them. Add a drop of freshly brewed coffee to your bath water. This can help clear away negative energy and illnesses. I tend to use coffee beans when I'm working magic with them to put into spell pouches and witch bottles. It is a lot easier than using the instant stuff, but you can use that too. It's entirely up to you. So coffee is energy, it's strength, it's courage, it's clarity, and can be used for divination. It's ruled by the planet of Mars, so it's got that fiery energy with it as well. Fire and water, and coffee is feminine gender, generally believed. To me, tea and coffee are the other way around, but that, let's go with the general idea. Let's have a look at some of your comments. Willow Moon. Cricket balls are great energy. Represent the moon. Great for throwing at your problems. Absolutely. The cricket balls tend to be, they're different colours, aren't they? I'm looking. You've got a white one and a red one. So we could have the moon and a burgundy one. Lots of them. So you could have one as the moon, one as the sun. That's cool. Cricket. See, I hadn't even thought about cricket balls, bringing that into it. Maria said, what tea is associated with Sauen? I think you'd want a psychic energy one, wouldn't you? I would go with the spices. I would go with star anise, cinnamon, all of the strong spices, probably fennel, something like that as well, definitely. Christine says, Witch Spirit Star Child Gillespie is a good one for Sauen. The Lucifer at Children of Artemis online shop also has some really good Sauen scents, wax melts and incense and things as well. But yes, I would go, Maria, with the kind of the strong scents with the licoricey, aniseedy type smells to them. Xenia says, gives whole new opportunities inviting someone for coffee. Absolutely. Yeah. No, you'll think about it for a whole different way. Diane says, yes, that would work for Sauen, wouldn't it? For remembering and honouring your ancestors. Rosemary, definitely. Remembrance tea at Jane, absolutely. That's an interesting thought, isn't it? Coffee is often offered during meetings to make them do what we want. Well, you never know, you've never thought of coffee like that before. I mentioned sugar, about adding sugar to your coffee to sweeten people's mood. I use sugar a lot in my witch bottles, in my spell pouches. It does make life sweeter. It does make people sweeter. It does sweeten their moods. You don't need to be any sweeter. No, like my husband. Not giving you any more sugar. You're hyper enough as it is. Sugar does. It makes life sweet. So that's how I use it magically. It's ruled by Venus. So it brings that kind of love energy to it. It's ruled by the element of water. So it brings in emotions. So sugar is really good for any love magic as well, with that Venus connection and with the emotions. Sugar I also use for protection as well. So love, happiness, sweetening the mood and protection it's quite good at as well. And it is a feminine energy because we're all made of sugar and spice, obviously. Jane says, depends what... Well, you see, that's it. If you're working with hoodoo, then all sorts of things can get added into the coffee. Diane, rosemary is my favourite go-to herb for all sorts of magic. Rosemary is really, really useful for all sorts of things. Let's look it up because I just happen to have the book here by the side of my desk. All of my books are packed away, but I kept this one and the food one out because I refer to them all the time. Rosemary, really good for protection, love, lust, mental powers. Really good if you're in an exam and you sniff a bit of rosemary. It helps clarify your mind, focus your thoughts, makes you remember as well. Very good for exorcism and purification, so because it's got that really sharp scent, so it's really good for clearing stuff out. It's also very good for healing. I've got a squeaky chair too. It's also good to use in sleep magic. Ruled by the sun, because it's got that fiery element to it, so it is a fire element as well. Ruled by Aries, the sign of Aries, and it is a masculine. Very, very useful herb, rosemary. I grow it in the garden. It's one of my go-tos as well. Xenia says, coffee is love. Coffee understands. Have a visitor in the office building who has to wait. They'll be calmed down and sweetened by giving them coffee. Absolutely. Absolutely. Joe's been invited for coffee later, now wondering what they want. Watch them make the coffee, Joe, just so that you can make sure I don't slip anything into it. Christine says, Rosemary's a good all-rounder, substitute for most herbs and fragrance. Yeah, it is a very good all-rounder, absolutely. Christine says, noise can be good in a house. It scares the ghosts away. Ringing a bell in the house to change the energy. Yes, if you've got, I have everything packed away, so I don't have incense or herbs or anything. But the amount of noise that's going on in the house anyway is clearing out the negative energy, and the positive energy that the builders are bringing in is immense because they're so cheerful. But yes, noise is really good, isn't it? Clapping, drumming, ringing a bell through the house will clear it all out. So other things. I mean, I'm just looking around my desk now. Come on, throw some stuff at me, people. The last quarter of an hour. What have you got in front of you that you would use for magic? I have got blue tack. Good for sticking things together. Good for holding things up. What else have we got here? I've got a ruler. Measurements, keeping things straight, keeping things on the straight and narrow. Pencils and pens. Pencils and pens perhaps could be, I mean, you could bring colour magic in with pencils and pens, but I'm just thinking pens you write with, communication. Pens and pencils would be good to use in magic for keeping that lines of communication open. What else have we got? A plug. I'm just looking at random things now off the top of my head. If you think of anything, do shout out. A plug. Connections. Plug would be really good in magic for connections, because that's what you use it for. Power, energy. Plug would be really good for energy as well. I've got here, Maria says pen. Yeah, a pen, I think, is all about communication, isn't it? And writing, the flow, going with the flow as well, maybe. Jane has a slate coffee mat. Slate has its own magical properties because it is a stone. So you would have the magical properties of the slate. Coasters, we call them, don't we, if you're being posh. They provide protection, so they protect the coffee mug, they protect the table from the coffee mug. So a coaster, coffee mat, would bring protection as well. Karen, a hairbrush, clearing energy, brushing away negative energy. I like it. Yes, because you do, don't you? You brush out the knots too. It would be really good for removing blockages, keeping the lines open, keeping the flow going. Joe has a fan. I'm assuming you mean a fan or a fan, not someone that's, there worshipping you. Fan keeps you cool. It keeps the air moving, so there's movement. It would work, I think, with all of the element of air. So you would have intellect, intelligence, wisdom, intuition. Definitely a very, very strong representation of the element of the air there. Jane has a little black book of phone numbers on the desk, keeps me connected. Yeah, because phone numbers are connection, aren't they? That, I think, into that would also bring business matters, family, friends, relationships. That would all come into it, wouldn't it? John said, the phone's in front of me, ringing the changes. I did a talk a while back on working magic with the mobile phone. That is on my YouTube channel if you want to have a look. There's all sorts of magic you can work with the mobile phone, using the phone itself, using the pictures on it, using the apps that come with it. The mobile phone is, I think, quite magical, but definitely ringing the changes would be very good. I think that's another connection one as well, isn't it? Relationships and friendships. Willow Moon, a plug stops your energy running down the sink. I like it. Yes. The plug stops water leaking out as well, doesn't it? So I think there's perhaps a connection there between blocking your emotions. If you have got a block in your emotions, you could fill the sink, visualize the water as your emotions, and pull the plug out to allow the blockages to release. Now, Rachel, you work right in the middle of a whole magical workshop. Rachel creates the beautiful pixie made jewelry, do go and have a look at her Facebook page. She has some amazing creations. So you are working, you're crafting. So you are working in magic every day with tools. Yeah. Each step in creating the piece adds a different energy and fit. Yes, absolutely. And it shows in your jewelry, Rachel. It really does. You are very, very, very magical and talented. So absolutely lovely environment to work in. Willow Moon. Your sink, wash and cleanse things. Wash your hands. Pull out the plug. Let your negative energy run away. Definitely. Back to the earth to be recycled. I do that when you are washing any vegetables. Allow the dirt to wash off of the vegetables. Visualize that as your negative energy running down the sink. You can do it as you're peeling vegetables as well. You're taking off the outer layers. You're ridding yourself of any blockages or negative energy. Christine, when I had problems, I used to sit in a bath, visualize problems going into the water. Then I'd sit in the bath until the water went away. Then I had a shower to wash residues away. Brilliant. Water as well, because it does connect so strongly with your emotions, with your intuition. It really is strong. It really, really is a strong element to be working with. We all work with ritual baths as well. You can put all sorts of different herbs and spices and oils into your bath to bring all different intents in, definitely. Christine has wind chimes, sun catchers, dream catchers all around me, and a rainbow maker in the window. Lovely. I bet I'm just moving the brick out of the way so I get my water. Lovely. Perfect. I think we have wind chimes in the garden, and it's a beautiful noise. But I think it also clears the energy, doesn't it? There is a link there to Pixie Made in the comments. There we go. Thank you very much. Hoover for cleansing, not great for riding. So yes, your vacuum cleaner is, I do that when I'm hoovering anyway. When I am vacuuming the house, I visualize all of the negative energy being vacuumed up into the hoover. If you have one with a decent sized cylinder, you can also put a few drops of essential oil onto a piece of paper towel and pop that in the cylinder, and then it releases the essential oil scent as you are vacuuming as well. But the vacuum's brilliant for cleansing the house. When you're dusting too, obviously, you know, you leave the dust and the cobwebs for magical purpose. But if you have to dust, you can chant as you're doing it. You can visualize as you clear the dust away, as you do your cleaning, taking all the negative energy out. But with the vacuuming, with the dusting, when you're clearing out all of this negative energy, remember that it leaves a void, and there's nothing that loves a void more than more negative energy. So as you clean and clear and vacuum, remember to put some positive energy back in once you've cleared the negative out. You're very welcome, Rachel. The Pixie Made jewelry is amazing. Jane got some skull candle molds primed and ready to make some candles today. They were a gift from my lovely friend Colin in Hull. Came in the post yesterday, absolutely thrilled. Skulls in time for Sauen. Yes, I mean, who doesn't have skulls just lying around at any time of the year? Yeah, we've got skulls in our living room, just on the fireplace. Yeah, like you do. I don't work with skull crystals, but one of the Kitchen Witch Posse, Ness, works quite specifically with crystal skull magic, which skulls have their own unique individual magic anyway. If you want to learn more about skull crystals, have a look at the Kitchen Witch blog, because Ness did put a blog up there about working with crystal skulls. John has books. Books. Now, books, obviously, we all love books. But books can be used for bibliomancy. I think I pronounced that right. You can do divination with a book. So you would ask a question. I'm just picking up this book here. You ask a question, and then you turn to a page, and you point at one of the sentences. And whatever the sentence says is the answer to your question. You can do that with any book, the Bible, your witch grimoire, your reference books, a fiction book, any book that you want. you can do the bibliomancy with. So you ask a question, open the page, point at one of the lines, and whatever that sentence is the answer to your question. You can get some really interesting results from books. And envelopes for saved seeds. Well, seeds are prosperity to me. They are growth. They're new beginnings. I actually use seeds quite a lot in my magical workings for the prosperity magic, but for any new venture, new project, new growth, anything that needs to be planted, ready to grow. Seeds are perfect for that. Jane puts all vacuum cleaner dust in the compost for the earth to absorb and recycle the bad energy into good. Excellent. Brilliant way to recycle. Excellent. Perfect idea. Absolutely brilliant. So I think it is really about looking at the things that you've got in front of you. I use buttons quite a lot in magic. I did a talk about button magic a while back. That's on YouTube as well. I use buttons. Quite often pop a button in a spell pouch or a witch's jar to seal it, to bring things together, to keep things up, to bring the whole thing together and to keep it safe and to keep it fixed. Buttons are quite good for fixing spells. Karen says, cardboard boxes can be made into anything. I'm making Halloween decorations with my grandson, but I've used it for a mobile autoplate before when I need things to light as Mind Slate. Excellent. Absolutely. Yes, I have used pieces of cardboard when I've got candle wax and all sorts of things. Yeah, definitely. Very, very useful. And it can all be recycled as well. So I think it's about having a bit of a think outside of the box. It's about having a look at things that you've got in front of you. We've nearly all got pens, pencils, paper. We've all got cutlery and plates and cups. Everything can be used for magical purpose. It's just about sympathetic magic, isn't it? It's about thinking about what magical connection it has. Anything. You can work magic with anything. So it's about thinking about outside the box. And that has been a lesson for me in the last few weeks. And something that I'm going to be taking forward with me, because obviously I'm writing a book about household magic, because when am I not writing a book? So I'm collecting all this stuff as I go along. And it's been quite a good challenge for me to use all these household everyday things for magical purpose. That's kind of it for today. Do have a think. If you come up with anything else, pop it in the comments afterwards. We'd love to hear about what items you use for magical purpose that are everyday things. If you are around on checking the diary, Saturday, thank you. Saturday the 30th. Tomorrow, yes, tomorrow, Saturday 30th, 7 p.m. UK time. We're still on BST because the clocks don't change till Sunday. On the Kitchen Witch Facebook group, we have our online Sauen ritual going live. So do join us for that if you would like to. Otherwise, I will see you guys all again next week. If anyone would ever wants me to talk about anything in particular, do message me. Happy to talk about anything you want, as long as I know about it. Thank you, as always. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Have a think about all the magical things that you can use around your house. Pop them in the comments, as I say. It'd be lovely to get a whole list of stuff going that we can use for magical purpose. It's all about thinking outside the box. Thank you, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend.